Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to be talking about the steam gauge VSI, or vertical speed indicator. We're going to be covering things like what it looks like, how it functions, the inner workings of the VSI, what that means for you, and some tips and tricks along the way. But before we get into it, for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Cassandra. I'm a certified flight instructor, so I'm a pilot who teaches other people how to become pilots. Before that, I briefly worked on the line as a flight attendant for Delta Airlines, so this channel is all about the world of aviation. Whether you're interested in becoming a pilot, a flight attendant, or you're just interested in the aviation industry in general, welcome. This channel is for you, and I'm so glad that you're here. Now, let's get into the VSI. So here we have our VSI, or vertical speed indicator. Now it's useful because it helps us understand how we're trending in terms of climbing or descending, as well as determining our rate of climb or descent. Now, in case you're wondering, Cass, what's a trend versus what's a rate? A trend is when your VSI shoots up, for instance, but it doesn't give you a steady number. It just shows you the direction vertically in which you're headed. So it'll shoot up, but it won't give you a definitive number. A rate, however, is a steady number. So if you're in a climb, for instance, you'll get a steady reading of, say, 500 feet per minute. It's a consistent number you can read. Now, one thing I will say right off the bat, I found some of my students doing is hyperfixating on the VSI to maintain altitude, when in reality it hurts more than helps when you do that, and I'll tell you why. Inside the VSI, we have a calibrated leak right here that allows pressure to eventually equalize once we're flying at a steady rate, whether it's climb, descent, or cruise flight. Now, the thing about this calibrated leak is there's approximately 2 to 3 seconds of a delay in its reading. So the VSI's reading is already 2 to 3 seconds in the past. So I always tell my students that focusing on the big picture is more important. If you want to maintain altitude, look at your altimeter and other supporting instruments like your attitude indicator, airspeed indicator, tachometer, and so on. You'll want to glance at your VSI, but not hyperfixate on it. Your VSI is going to be your supplement. So let's bring this all together. The VSI is pretty simple. It only uses information from your static port. So your static port takes in the ambient air pressure, feeds it into the static pressure line right here that goes into the diaphragm, right there. Now the diaphragm takes in that static air pressure immediately into the diaphragm. But like we talked about, we have a calibrated leak right here. And what is it? Well, it's in the name, a calibrated leak. So it releases a certain amount of pressure per measurement of time. Now, it doesn't release pressure as quickly as the diaphragm takes in because, like we mentioned, that calibrated leak is a bit slower with releasing pressure, so there will always be a lag with your VSI's reading in terms of rate or trend. So, with that delay, if you're climbing, for instance, your diaphragm will be taking in that ambient air pressure immediately, but the air pressure inside the casing will be bleeding off more slowly. So we're experiencing an air pressure in our casing that's about 2 to 3 seconds in the past. So then, as we know, air generally becomes less dense as we rise in altitude, so the pressure inside the casing will be greater than the air inside the diaphragm. The pressure inside the casing will squeeze down on the diaphragm, moving our mechanical linkages and causing our needle to move up. And what happens when you descend? The exact opposite. The diaphragm expands, the needle goes down. This is why chasing the needle with your VSI initially in your climb, descent, or maintaining cruise is not advisable. Once your aircraft is stabilized, showing a rate and not a trend, then you can make small adjustments to maintain your climb, descent, or maintaining cruise flight. And in case you're wondering what happens inside the mechanism if you're maintaining a steady rate of climb, for instance, it's all about maintaining a consistent pressure differential. So, again, if you're climbing and maintaining a rate, like we talked about, your diaphragm will consistently be squeezed down upon by the surrounding pressure inside the casing, with about the same amount of relative pressure. And the opposite will happen when you are descending. Your diaphragm will expand while you're descending, and you're maintaining about the same constant pressure differential in the descent. If you're in cruise flight, however, the pressure inside the casing will equalize and match approximately the same amount of pressure inside the diaphragm. And that's it. Pretty simple, huh? So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you found it useful, informative, entertaining, etc., etc. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up so I know that you enjoyed it. If you think someone would benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.